All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Um, all right, let me make sure I mute this here. Just want to make sure I got a new mic, guys. So just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Just want to do a quick mic check before we continue. All right, excellent, perfect. All right, so let's get started here, guys. As usual, our gappers list is going to move it over here so you can see what it looks like. Not as crazy as we've seen in the past, but again, still very big, but not as we've seen in the last couple of days where it's been 40 plus, 30 plus. So this is a little more manageable compared to what we've been having. So as usual, guys, we'll start over with our top ones over here and the ones that are green. And then we'll go through the ones that are taking the biggest hit, which seems to be the same ones that we have seen in play for since we started this Corona news, since things have been getting a little more volatile in the market. I already see CCL, one of my favorite stocks that I'm just going to even keep over here. I'm not even going to move it from there. That's one of my favorites to watch during this time. But before we get to this gappers list, give us a little bit of insight. What's going on with any news, anything significant happening today?
Yeah, man. SPI starting out 3.5% down. It looked like we were going to try to hold some levels. Futures actually tried to bounce a couple of times earlier this morning. We've given that up. There's news essentially Italy is shut down unless you've got to go to war, which most of the stuff is closed anyway. You have to carry a note around saying, I'm going from here to there. And if the police pull you over and you don't have your note, uh, I'm going to the grocery store to get food or going to work or going to a medical appointment, you get a fine. So if that ever happens here, it should be interesting. Just with civil rights and everything, and that constitutional rights that people have here, so being able to travel without papers. So should be very interesting if that comes about here. Anyway, 3.5% down. We'll see if this holds. We'll see if we start to get a bid at some point before the open. Yesterday was actually a little bit encouraging to me. I mentioned it yesterday. It's real unhealthy that the market's gapping up and gapping down these massive percentages. Yesterday we were up several percent. I mean, the Dow was up like close to 1,000 points at the open, and the whole thing sold off and turned negative. That was all markets. I'm just using the one everybody hears on the news because that's what's making people panic right now. Sold off, and then it claimed all that back. So that was an interesting sell off, and then some people started to buy. So we'll see if that continues. I actually nibbled on something for a long term portfolio, not a swing even. Um, Something I wanted to buy, and it gave me the opportunity. So we'll see if people start stepping in down here. We'll see if I'm an idiot, but maybe I'm too early. But I just took a little piece, and I'll add to it if it makes sense as we go forward in the next few days and weeks. Anyway, that's what we got going on today. As far as data, CPI just came out. I don't have the number. I don't see it here. CPI core came in 2.4 versus 2.3, so a little bit hotter than expected. Um, and then that's pretty much it for today. Tomorrow we've got PPI, weekly jobless claims, and then on Friday, import price index and consumer sentiment for March. That consumer sentiment on number March, for March at 10 a.m. on Friday will be very interesting because that will show impact of the coronavirus. It's anticipated to come in at 95. 100 would be even. Let's say over 100 is optimistic, under 100 is pessimistic as far as the consumer goes. Consumers, what props up this economy, it's expected to come in at 95. It's pretty consistently been at 100 or above. Could be interesting to see what happens there.
All
Anyway,
right,
that's what we
yeah.
got going on today, man.
That is pretty interesting to see what's going on there, and I'm with you on the spy. It's just these moves are just again, we haven't been in this type of environment in a long time, or even at all for those that just have started trading. So right now, spies as usual very active. You can see here we're kind of dropping down a bit, down 3% right now, and looking to possibly test this level down here. Very strong level towards the bottom here. This looks to be 270. 3, which is the low for the last 2 trading days. So we'll see how that plays out, guys. But let's look at some of the stuff that's gapping up today this morning. INO, as you can see here, it is up quite a bit this morning, 23%. Again, this took a bit of a hit the last 2 trading days, as you can see right on here, having a big red day 2 days ago. Yesterday also gapped down and also sold off as well. And today we're kind of getting a little bit of a bounce back with a great pre-market activity at the moment. Here we have a nice pre-market with some good volume, 2 million shares traded right now. So I think this was one that's going to be active for today, guys. Let's look at how he traded yesterday. Yesterday I had a big sell-off, nice engulfing pattern here on the 5-minute, fell below the VWAP, and it really just dropped down and could never really regain the VWAP after that. It was a great short. Even after the markets came back, this one continued to take a hit, did not recover. So again, I think this one's trading very well. We have seen some good opportunities worth
Carlos,
watching.
we got. Yep. I think you got an audio problem on YouTube. I don't think they can hear us.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they can hear me for sure.
All right, let's just double check. I see everything checks out. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's any reason why they should not be hearing us. Secure system sounds. Yeah, man, your levels are coming in good. Mine are showing in good, so I don't see why they're not able to hear us.
Yeah. Some people can hear, some people can't, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Don't know what to do there.
All right. Okay, so let's go over to CODX, another one that has been very active. This is a low flow stock, so you want to be a little bit cautious with this one. This is trading today 474,000 shares. It is up 18.6 at the moment. Again, this has not been an easy stock to trade after. It has really after it gapped up and did this beautiful moves here. It has not been easy to trade after that. So not one that I'm going to keep on my list. We see this on this quite often. Again, just see how I traded yesterday. I mean, just look at it yesterday. Look at the drop. Look at some of these gaps. This is what I don't like about these type of stocks when they gap down like this. I'm not sure if this was a halt or not. But again, these type of moves, you're jumping from 775 almost down 50 cents here. Again, this is not the type of stock you want to be messing around with. So for that reason, I'm not going to keep it on my list. Let's look at DXC at the moment. See what we got here. So DXC right now, we do have a nice little pop up this morning, up 9.9, 119,000 shares traded. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great compared to other stuff that we have seen. This thing obviously has been taking a hit. Norm, is this one on any news or anything? I think this is the first time we're looking at this one, DXC.
They're selling a business unit.
All right, so now
they also declared a dividend. So there are a couple of things going on there.
Okay, gotcha. So again, not sure what the deal is on this one, so I'm just gonna stay away from it, guys, for right now. That type of news usually does not trade very well, so for that reason, we'll just keep it out for now. We do have some other ones that we looked at before. APT. I'm not going to put it on here because I'm probably not going to watch this one. This is one that has been very active. Also another low flow stock next to CODX. This has been, again, they all have the same similar pattern. The pop here where they traded very well got really overextended here and have been dropping down and not really recovering after that huge pop. Another one, GNMK. This one, what we got going on here, 196,000 shares traded. Pre-market activity does not look great, and the daily has been all over the place, as you can see here. So again, this is nothing that looks great to trade. What is the float on this one? It's not a low flow stock. It's 54 million shares float, but it barely gets any volume, guys. If you look at down here, barely trades over 1 million shares on a regular basis. It has a horrible daily chart. It had a couple of pops here, but you can see these are not clean at all. So that's not really anything you want to be involved in. Pre-market starting to get a little bit better here, starting to get going. If it can continue to get nicer and get some more volume, maybe it can become something that we can look at. But right now, it's not looking all that great. Let's look at yesterday and the day before, see how it traded. So the day before didn't really have a lot going on there. It doesn't look very clean. The day before that had a lot more volume, also very choppy. Look at the way this price action is on the 5-minute. That's not a clean price action. The way with the market is right now, we have stocks that are moving very well. You do not need to be watching anything that's moving in this type of price action at the market open. Down over to the last one showing green, up 5.8. Kala, Kala. And this one, what do we have here? 238,000 shares traded. Not the best pre-market activity, guys. Your pre-market activity starts right here. for today, and this is not looking all that clean. Now you are starting to get some volume here. It has died down over the last 10 minutes. If that volume continues, maybe can get a little bit better, but right now it's not giving you anything that's all that clean. The float on this one is 25.1, so it's not a low flow stock, but it doesn't trade very clean. Just look at the patterns on the daily. You could tell how some of these bodies, these candles are very small. The wicks are larger than the actual bodies of the candles. And then look down at the volume, right? When you see that type of pattern, you look down at the volume, you can see that it barely trades any volume. A couple of days ago, they have a nice pop here, traded 7 million shares, and you had some good intraday play here. That was 2 days ago, but overall, it's a very choppy stock. Here's the breakout that you had on here with an amazing volume. So this traded well if you were sitting on here waiting for that. Or hit the scanners and was able to take an opportunity off the VWAP. But overall, look how it traded yesterday. It's just not as clean as you would like, with very, very little volume. All right, let's go back to the red now. Let's start over with Oxy. So
just a heads up on that KALA, that was based on pricing a secondary offer. So
yes. Okay, so that's not even, yeah, that's why probably getting some of this movement here. So yeah, so definitely do not want to have that on your list. All right, let's head down over to the red. And Norm, on anything that's gapping down, anything significant here that you haven't had an opportunity to look at that has some good news that can be something to watch that's not moving with the SPY? Yeah, no, I'm asking for the golden ticket here, but anything that you have found in that scenario?
nope. Still looking though.
Okay, cool. And if you guys, we're going to get to the chat rooms real quick. And if you guys have something like that, definitely let us know. Again, the more eyes, the better, especially when you have this type of gappers list. But let's look at some of the ones that have been very interesting. CCL is already on my list. I'm going to be watching this, guys. This traded amazing yesterday. We had a great opportunity here. I mean, it doesn't get more textbook than this, guys. Beautiful engulfing pattern here on the 5 minute. I'm on this stock. I've always been pretty short bias, which you should not be, but I think this stock is going to struggle to get any kind of movement towards the upside. So here, the minute I saw this opportunity to go short on this engulfing pattern, I took that trade, and a lot of you guys did. And look how clean this traded here. Some of you took the reversal here, which was nice. Back to the VWAP, and then you can see here got toppy, could not stay above the VWAP. If I was Store or Norm, I would have been adding on here to continue this move down. So again, that would have been a pretty good trade. So again, nice trade here on CCL. It is definitely on my watch list today. Pre-market activities all over the place, but we know this stock is going to be active with this news really hitting them pretty hard. Another one that has been great to watch, I've seen a lot of people take this trade, is American Airlines, AAL. So let's look at that one this morning. Also moving with the SPY. Yesterday also sold off at the open. They flirted around with the VWAP a little bit and then dropped down, lost the low of the day at that point around 11:30 and dropped down nicely. Again, recovered nicely though, better than CCL after in the afternoon. You can see here a beautiful pop above the VWAP. This one is going to be another one that's moving very well with the type of situation we're in. A good one to watch. Another one we have been keeping an eye on is we have some other banking stocks here. West Fargo. It's not the one we've been keeping an eye on, but let's just see how that's doing. So you got a little activity on here as well, similar to Bank of America. But Bank of America is the one that a lot of us are watching. It's been getting some decent volume. Today we have 397. Again, pretty flat at the moment, like most of the stocks are just kind of following the SPY. The last 3 days, if you look at the SPY, this is basically what the SPY has been doing. Is what you are seeing here. So Bank of America is another one that we'll keep an eye on here. Let's scroll down the list. Let's look at GE. See what these guys are up to. All right, so not much going on there. Garbage. Let's look at MU. MU's not doing all that much. Again, AMD is probably the one to watch out of this bunch. Traded very well. Yes, as you can see here, nice drops following the SPY, obviously. So AMD is going to get the volume. Already has 648,000 shares traded today. For that reason, I'm going to keep AMD on here as possible. Just going to go through this list and look at some favorites. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple is very similar to AMD. You can watch either one. Apple, though, had a bigger bounce yesterday than a lot of these stocks did. You know, Apple's not trying to sell off as much as these other stocks are selling off. If you notice, if you look at like a Bank of America, look at the drop here, right? They're directly affected. Look at American Airlines, directly affected. Look at the drop. CCO, obviously directly affected. But if you look at Apple, the last couple of days, they're not taking a hit as some of these other stocks are, right? Just look at it. They had the drop, obviously, but look at the bounce. Their recovery is a lot higher than any of these other stocks. This is a stock you want to watch. If things start getting well in the SPY, this is one you want to keep an eye on because I expect this one to bounce back pretty nice. No, I'm sure you're going to be keeping an eye on Apple as well. I just want to know it's one of your favorite stocks to watch.
if you look at, we mentioned this the other day when I was saying I was going to look for some, um, stocks that are best in their class. Microsoft's another one that's had a heck of a run up. I'm looking to see on this sell off when people start to get in and start to buy it. And you can see something similar there with that big bounce with Microsoft. So on the daily. Um, so that's one I'll be keeping my eye on as
Yeah.
well.
Yep. Same thing with Microsoft. You're right. These stocks have been very strong. Again, they're affected by the news, but not directly as some of these other ones that are affecting their business. You can see that the drop is not as hard as we're seeing on the SPY. All right, guys. Not gonna go through any of these more.
I'm gonna
Norm, what do you have?
Yeah, well, I'm going to throw out a couple on here.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at PDD. PDD did announce earnings. Their revenue, their earnings beat. Their revenues were disappointment. They talked about coronavirus issues. They're down 6.5%,
Mm-hmm.
but their daily chart looks like complete trash.
Yeah. Yeah. It really does. Yep. Yep.
This used to actually trade fairly well, but this daily chart gives me nothing that I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Oxy, OXY. Obviously, this is one of the we've got a ton of oil stocks on here again as oil starts to drop after that bounce it put in yesterday. Oxy was actually halted. We had a couple of traders that were in positions in that were halted on it yesterday, and they came out. It was halted for news. They cut their dividend drastically, like 86%. I can't remember. It was like 80 cents and they cut it to 11, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
was around, I know they cut it to 11. I think it was around 80-ish. Might have been 76, might have been 86, but somewhere in that range. So a drastic cut to their dividend, and also announced some massive capital spending cuts, which makes sense if it costs more to extract oil than a price than the cost of a barrel is worth. Then it doesn't make sense to be spending a ton of money doing so. So that'll be in play. And if I see anything else specifically, I will point it out.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm gonna keep PDD up here because again they got their own catalyst this morning, so that's important. We saw Twitter how that reacted when they had their own catalyst and earnings. It traded very well. So again, it's important to find these stocks that during this time of the market where everything is moving that have their own catalyst. So PDD I'm gonna keep up here, and we'll build a list of catalysts. Strong catalysts are moving with volume on that area. All right, guys, let's see what you guys have on your end. So let's start over here in our chat room. What do we have? Let's see. PDD we have on our list. T-Doc. Is that a stock? T-Doc.
Yep.
What we got going on here? Health stock.
Teledoc. So this one's been on a tear recently. So this is a virtual doctor
Mm-hmm.
service at home over the internet. Just like you and I are right here on video, and they are going to reap the benefits when they tell people not to go to the emergency room with the coronavirus,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they can teleconference with a doctor. And they're also talking about one of the things involved the U.S. government's looking to do is cover the cost of coronavirus tests for people,
Mm.
meaning that even if you have a deductible or whatever, they will cover that. And the other thing is these teleconference doctor services. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these guys been on a tear for a very long time, but yeah, they're gonna. You can see here the spikes are a lot higher now. They're gonna take advantage of this very nicely. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one, guys. They report earnings, or it's just regular market activity that's just causing them to gap up this morning.
no, it's on Teledoc is just what I described. It looks
Yeah.
like the government might come in and subsidize people using a service
Using their
like this.
service. Perfect. All right, so guys, this is right next to PDD because this one could definitely get going this morning. Had a nice pop yesterday. So yesterday something definitely broke out yesterday. As you can see on here, that's not a normal pop there, but definitely worth keeping an eye on TDOC this morning. Thank you for that, guys. What else we have looking at this list? DXC. We looked at this one earlier. I'm not really liking the. Let me see DXC. Hold on a second. Let's put it on here. DXC. I think we looked at this earlier. Yeah, this is a secondary offering, right, Norm? You mentioned
No,
or
no, they're,
some.
they're selling it. They're selling a business unit, which
Right. Right.
actually I will have this on my list because it's not a complete sale of the company. It's not a merger or any acquisition, anything like that. They're just selling a business unit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look into it a little bit more. But if they're freeing up and some capital to maybe pay off some debt or something, or an underperforming business unit. That's my guess is that's why they're gapping up, something around that, something along those lines. So it might be interesting to keep an eye on.
Gotcha. So
Better than a lot of stuff I'm seeing.
gotcha. Okay, so we'll throw it on here. DXC. We'll see what's going on there. Let's sit down over to Nvidia. See what's going on with Nvidia here. So I see you guys throwing that one out. Nvidia this morning. And Nvidia's been again, it's kind of following what the market is doing, but the volume has not been great as you've been seeing, like on AMD, on Apple. I think those are moving a lot better during this time of the market. So again, if you look at Nvidia, you're moving this essentially what the market is doing, but you're not getting that volume. Now it is definitely tradable. I think you can take some opportunities out of this one, but I'd rather watch something that's a little bit a lesser price like an AMD or an Apple that moves very well. Apple's not that low of a price, but again, it moves so well. I'd rather watch an Apple or an AMD when it comes to a stock that's going to be following the market conditions at the moment. So that'll be my suggestion on that one. TDOC we have. Let's see what else we got going on here. TVIX will be a good one for a possible a scalp. Again, if the market drops, this could be a good one to take an opportunity in.
Careful with that one, with where the
I
VIX sits right now.
Yep. I was gonna say that to you right now, guys. Look at this, the price on this stock, and this thing moves. It's moving what, $5, $10 candles if this stuff gets going. So again, when this was lower price, and you had a little move in the SPY that was somewhat controlled, it was more less risk to take and trade this. But now, guys, I mean, this thing, the spread is incredible. You have moves out here about $5 a pop. So again, just be careful, and if you're just starting out, just avoid trading this. And actually today we're going to talk about the webinar we have coming up that's going to talk exactly about this type of situation with the market. So Norm will get into that in a bit.
Let me mention something on TVIX real quick. So I mean, obviously, when we are in a period of low volatility, and the VIX, I'm not talking about the TVIX, the actual VIX, the CBOE volatility index is low. Some people use these levered 2 times, 3 times ETFs to get some kind of fake volatility to find some things that move. People trade it all the time. But what happens is when you have something that's 2 or 3 times levered and it's already really elevated, you're going to move that much more. So it's really something. It could be devastating to you if you get on the wrong side of something that goes against you on that.
I agree. Sometimes, and it really is just not worth it, So
yeah, it's not just TVIX. It's anything that's levered. I mean, they create opportunities, but at the same time, it can be super dangerous. So just keep an eye on that.
Yep. All right, guys. What else do we have? Let's take a look here on our YouTube chat. All right, PDD we have, guys. That's a good one for today. They have their own catalyst this morning, so we'll be watching that. CLDR. Let's take a look at that one. CLDR this morning gapping up 7%. Not a great volume right now. Only 85,000 shares traded. This one we have traded before in the past. Their daily is not great. Just look how choppy it is. But they do have a nice pop today. I'm not sure if there's any news behind it. You guys didn't put it on here, but again, the volume is not there quite yet. I'll throw it on here. Let me know if you guys have any news on it, and then
they had earnings after the close yesterday. They beat revenues, they beat EPS, and they had strong guidance. So that's what's getting them to go against the market today. It actually could be an interesting play.
Yeah.
It's not the cleanest trading ticker that I've known of, but still, nevertheless, it'll likely be in play.
Yeah, no, definitely. Anything that has anything different and going against the market like this, definitely worth keeping an eye on. Next, we have Etsy. Let's see what's going on there. So they are gapping down, but guys, no volume. They're down 2.8, but really only 350 shares traded at the moment. I don't see anything going on this one, at least right now. Let's take a look over at what's the one we had on here. So someone post Tesla, and then we'll look at PEP. Let's look at Tesla this morning, see what we got going on. Again, Tesla holding on to the 600 level here. It looks like every stock has been finding their support area. The way the SPY has found its support there, bouncing back with this from the same low of the day twice here. Tesla very choppy this morning with not a lot of volume. Usually we have a lot more volume in the morning with Tesla. Again, just kind of chopping around. It is down 3%, but not really saying anything great out of this stock today. Norm, is there any specific news on Tesla? It doesn't look like there is anything happening at the moment.
Well, Elon Musk yesterday came out and said that they're going to be opening a new gigafactory to produce the Cybertruck somewhere in the central United States. He's looking for a location, and I think another factory on the East Coast to produce the Model Y, maybe as well. So it actually could have its own catalyst. I'm going to have my eye on this one for sure. That could be interesting.
Well, now that you mentioned Cybertruck, anything with Cybertruck, you definitely got to keep your eye on because that is a very hot topic as we have seen in the past.
Or keep your eyes off of it.
So let's take a look at PEP next here. PEP, not a lot of volume this morning or volume at all, only 9,000 shares traded. It is down 2.6. They've been very wild the last couple of days here. The pops has been crazy. But again, I'm not seeing anything all that great on PEP this morning. Cala, we looked at. We looked at CALA. Why did we keep this one? Yeah, pre-market's not all that great right now. It is up 7.1. What's the float on this one? This is up 25. It's not a low flow stock. The daily could get interesting, guys. It can get going here. Now, Norm, you did mention what was the reason for this pop here? You mentioned that I
Well,
think
they had a massive pop on
what was this Monday?
on trial results for a dry eye disease
Mm-hmm.
treatment, and it's coming down based on a secondary. And I just hate these trades
Yeah,
personally,
yeah.
but
Yeah, anything tied to a secondary, I don't want to have no part in either. Also, this stock doesn't trade a lot of volume, guys. Here, the last couple of days we had some volume on here, but for the most part, it doesn't trade all that well. Um, all right, let's see what else we have here. What else you guys are watching on your end that you like? CCL, yes, CCL. Oh, what's my CCL? Wait, that's my number one. CCL, I had it on here, but must have deleted it by accident. Yeah, CCL is definitely one I'm watching, guys. This one has been pretty fun to watch. Again, they're directly affected with what's going on. American Airlines is another one that's directly affected, but you could tell the stocks are really taking a bad hit on this. As we mentioned earlier, they have the big drop on here as the SPY does, right? If you look at these other stocks like Tesla and Apple and these other ones, they're not taking the drop as hard because these stocks have been trading pretty well. They've been pretty strong over the last couple of months. So they're just, again, they're dropping, they're being affected by it, but they're not really taking a dive per se as the market is dropping here. GILD. We'll look at this last one here, and then we'll go over to announcements. This is up 2% this morning, 197. I'm not aware of any news on this one. This was a little bit more tough to trade, though, guys. We have looked at this one before. Norm, I know you are. Are you still in your position on this one?
yeah, I'm not. Yes, it's a longer term position.
Yep,
I've held it
yep.
through worse than a couple of point drawback.
Right, right.
Um, I would this one. I mean, it is. They are testing a treatment with this, and this is the most, as of right now, people have said this is the most promising coronavirus treatment that there is, that they're aware of. So, whether it pans out or not, I can tell you from experience, Gilead has a history of disappointing investors. So we'll see. But that's kind of where
Mm-hmm.
it sits. Is this coronavirus deal? They're testing it. If some good news comes out of that, it really could be in play.
Yeah, yeah. You can see definitely the range has increased quite a bit for this stock in the last couple of days. You can see here how nice the ranges are from being small here to being some really big pops, hitting 80.35 on here. So Daniel C said he traded it yesterday, and I'm looking at the chart from yesterday. Yeah, it traded very well. Nice open range breakdown here. Beautiful drop. So again, this one traded very clean. But I'm not gonna keep it on here, guys. I think that there's a lot that we can watch. This could be one that you can watch as well if you have space for it. But I have a lot on here that I want to keep a close eye on, especially some of these that have their own catalysts like PDD, TDOC this morning, DXC as well. CLDR also has a catalyst today that's gapping up against the market. So I think these are going to be very interesting to keep an eye on. And then we have some that are just been very active. All you have to do is just really wait for a good pattern to show up, like we did with CCL yesterday on that drop, a nice engulfing pattern. A lot of stuff selling off, and then a lot of nice reversals, nice double bottoms on some of these stocks as the market recovers. So with that said, I think you have some really good stocks you can watch today aside from GILD. But if you have space for it, throw it on there. All right, folks, let's get over to announcements, and then we'll come back and do some support and resistance here.
All right, guys. So upcoming success webinars. Go ahead and cue that up, Carlos. We have got an incredible lineup coming up over the next 2 months, that's pretty much already, all those are pretty much already set. And we continue to add. We're working on these. We're really proud of what we got on. So tonight, we've got Tom Sosnoff from Tasty Trade. He's one of the founders of Thinkorswim, sold it to TD Ameritrade for good penny. And, amongst other accomplishments, a very well-known trader. He's the head of Tasty Works, Tasty Trade, as I mentioned. He'll be talking this afternoon. This one's a special time, 4:15 p.m. Eastern in the Lifetime Room, with probability, position sizing, and risk for trading. Next week, we've got Thor's much-awaited Level 2 class. He'll be talking about how he uses the Level 2 to trade. That's at 8 p.m., the normal time next Wednesday. And then we're going to have Ed Martin from Average Joe Trader back Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. And then April 1st, I'm also really looking forward to this one, Stephen Goldstein from Alpha Cubed, or he has the Alpha Mind podcast. He's a great Twitter follow as well. If you, I think he's at Alpha Mind, I believe, but you'll have to check that out. You can check my Twitter. I follow him. Really, really amazing trader psychologist. He was a trader himself for 20 years, I believe. So he knows what he's talking about and can put himself in your shoes. Anyway, so we continue to work on these. We will have more and more released and let you guys know what's going on. Last night was the first in our Psychology Tuesday webinar series. We had Dr. Katz, who is our in-house psychologist, talking about how to decrease overtrading. I've heard some pretty good feedback on that. We'll continue and release more information going forward. If you're looking to be a part of the Bearable Traders community, you can do so with a 40% off discount of the lifetime membership, the single payment option. Use the promo code St. Patrick's, or you can follow the link that Avi will put up. Also, if you'd like to try out the room, you haven't been in there, you're watching us on YouTube, you can do so at a discount. For the intro membership, use the promo code premarket24. It doesn't auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. And as I mentioned, Twitter, we are all very active on Twitter. Andrew is at Bearable Traders. Carlos is at Carlos M BBT, and I'm at Norm BBT. Thanks, guys.
All right, excellent. Thanks, man. All right, folks, let's get to it. Let's see what we have here. I think we got a pretty good list this morning. And if you guys see something that has a catalyst, that has some good volume, or that's getting a pop, definitely throw it out there and we'll take a look at it. Let's start over with CCL. Just remove some of the levels because we are getting the highs and lows for the last two trading days, making some good support and resistance right on here. We're kind of right smack stuck in the middle of these two trading days of highs and lows. We can mark down the low of the pre-market right now, sitting at 22.11. I think that would be a good level to have right on there. And then aside from that, guys, I think you really have plenty of levels on here. I don't think you need to add anymore. We have done a pretty nice drop over here, over down to 20. It's going to take a lot to break through that. The SPY is going to have to really help this one out a bit. Again, this is very extended. It has been taking a pretty nice bang here on towards the downside, but again, it has been trading so clean and so well. Already we're starting to see the pre-market activity get going a little bit here. We're testing this low of the pre-market 22.11 one more time at the moment. You can see here we had a very tough time trying to break that here a couple of an hour or two ago, and we'll see what that does now. So again, this has been one of my favorite stocks to trade, guys. Again, at the open, has been trading very clean and definitely hitting some of these levels that we have been marking down. So we'll keep an eye on that one. PDD also, guys, has a catalyst today. They have news behind it. Pre-market activity is very active this morning. Not as clean as we would like to see, but we do have a nice little drop here. We lost some momentum right on here, kind of pretty flat, but we're starting to gain that back a little bit here in the pre-market, hitting the low of the pre-market one more time at 35. So we're going to mark that down, but be on the lookout for the level below that, which I think is going to be a more important level. It's going to be the low of 2 days ago right on here. So if we can lose that, we definitely have the opportunity to test this level down here, down at 33. 87 could become support, and then clearly down here you have several days, 3 days using that 33 as a support level as well. Towards the top, you got plenty, guys, highs and lows from the last two trading days, previous day close. Got some moving averages in here as well. You could definitely want to watch out for this 36. So I'm going to mark that down. This 36, you can tell on here you have several days that have used this as support and resistance. When you draw this line across right on here, you can see the balance here. You got resistance happening here, support, more resistance, more support in these 5 days, and then breaks down. You can see that continues out through the entire month of really February and into March. We're seeing that 36 be a key level at PDD. So we'll see what we get here. Again, giving some back this morning, down 6.5 was a drop. Pre-market this morning started very early, was above green, and then dropped below the previous day, closed right on this candle here, and we'll see how that reacts this morning. Volume is great, 1.1 million shares traded. And again, these type of stocks that have their own news behind it are great to watch, especially when the market, everything's gapping down. Kind of gives you an idea of something that's trading a little bit separate than what the market is doing. TDOC this morning, guys, this one with the news that the government might be helping out and covering some of the costs, is popping up nicely today. So TDOC is up 5.3 with some good daily action here, as you can see, hitting that 120, bouncing off nicely. Had a couple of 2 good days, the last 2 trading days. Doesn't have great pre-market activity at the moment. Doesn't have great volume, but this one does have potential. So definitely keep an eye on this one. Also, look out for the spread, guys. Usually, these type of health stocks, their spread is not that great. So just make sure you have something reasonable here, not a 70 cents or a dollar spread. Just look out for that before you take a trade. And if the move still looks good, just reduce your size a little bit, or just try to sit on the bid or the ask, depending on how you want to play it, to try to get a better fill. You might not get filled. If you don't get filled, it's okay. Find another opportunity, but you want to put yourself in the best situation to succeed if you do take a trade on this TDOC. So at the moment, your high is at 157 towards the bottom. You got the previous day close helping you out here at 145, and then highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. There's a lot of movement going on here, but these levels are perfect. You got some moving averages on there as well. DXC, this one right now, again, the pre-market is pretty flat at the moment, but there has some news behind it that could be interesting on how they're going to react at the open today. Our high of the pre-market sitting at 1950, so we'll mark that down. Towards the bottom, our low of the pre-market is pretty much sitting at the high from 2 days ago, so we're just going to keep that one level on there. And really, if this thing breaks down, I don't think you need to mark the low of the pre-market again. You have the 17 here, which is going to be a great level, and below that previous day close, and then the 2 lows from the last 2 trading days also on here. Now towards the top, you have a moving average coming in slightly above 20, so you want to mark down 20 also, because 20 is going to be a whole dollar number where things can change direction, and there's going to be some kind of loss of momentum there. If you go back to the left, you see the last couple of days, you see an area around 20 where you have had some resistance and support as well. Towards the top, there's another great level right on here, 21.94, close to 22. Great area of support that can now become resistance if we're able to pop up here and go towards the top on DXS. So we'll see what happens there, guys. Volume is starting to pick up. We have 160 right now. This is up 10% going against the market. So these type of stocks are good to watch in this type of market condition. CLDR also reported earnings, also gapping up 8.3. Volume is not all that great, pretty much flat right now. But again, we've seen what these type of stocks are gapping up against the type of market can do. Twitter did that a couple of days ago, traded very well. So it's important to keep an eye on this one. So we have 861 high of the pre-market. Above that, you do have a level right on here at 940. Great level from these 2 days. You do have a moving average right between here, but I think this one 940 is going to be a really good area to possibly aim for. Look out for that for that moving average. Look out for this $9 whole dollar as well. But overall, this 940 is where you have a lot of change direction. You want to keep an eye on that one. And then towards the bottom, the price action is slightly right at a level of support. So I'm going to mark it down 842. The reason I like this one here, you have 2 days bouncing off of that. So you have the nice little bounce going back to 940 and then kind of losing momentum here around that 847 and bouncing back again. So let's see what it does around there. Right now, it's just really pretty much coiling up around this 840. So again, it's just kind of hanging around this level. But if it loses it or bounces above it, you can suspect that some case it can come back and test that level one way or the other. That level seems to be important for this stock as it's wrapping itself around it right now. Below that, you do have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days and the previous day close. I think it's got you covered. If you want to put something in between here, between 840 and the previous day close, you do have the opening, the closing of this day at 810. So this could be a good level as well. There's a lower price stock, guys. So if you're getting 30-40 cents out of this stock, definitely take profits. Okay, that's a big move for a stock that's trading at $8. Here is Tesla today. So Tesla, okay, starting to get going, looking interesting. This pre-market activity here, breaking seems to be this high over here. Now I'm sure that's the high of the pre-market. I think it is. Yes, it is. So it's looking to break that now. Some volume seems to be coming in. So I like the action we're getting at the moment. I'm going to mark down the low of the pre-market sitting at 618. We'll mark that down, and then above
I'm
that.
not. It's It's pretty common for things to leave the station without me in the pre-market like this, but
Yeah,
not 20 minutes before the market opens, man.
yeah. I hear you, man. This thing is starting to get going. It's looking interesting. It looks like it wants to go red to green. You got the previous day close here around 6:45:33. Let's see what it does there. But this is looking very nice, very nice. So definitely keep an eye on Tesla. You're stuck between the highs and lows right now. So you got two really good levels on here. You do have a moving average slightly above the previous day close around 6:53. That's a minor support resistance. I'm not sure how great that level is going to be. Definitely the previous day close is a good one, and this level up here is a nice one as well because this has been tested several times. You can see it on here also. All right, above that, guys, we do have 706. Keep an eye on that one. You got some moving averages, a minor level here, another one here around 720. So let's see what it does, guys. Getting very, very exciting right now in Tesla. As you can see here, taking a nice little pop there. INO this morning. It's got a great pre-market activity, guys. I'm just not sure how it's going to be trading at the open. We'll mark some levels here. Our high of our pre-market sitting at 738. So let's mark that down. The low of the pre-market pretty close to the previous day close. I'm not really going to mark that down. I think the previous day close is more important than the low of the pre-market on this one. Towards the bottom, you got the lows from the last two trading days. This is a great area of support. We bounced from that yesterday after having two huge sell-off days. So we'll see if we can maintain that. Right now, pre-market looks amazing, though. This is a great pre-market activity. You got tons of volume, 3 million shares traded. You're up 18%. So this could be a great possible. You do have some levels on this already. This level here, 1849, I'm not sure what it was when you put it on there, but you can move this down to this area here instead. You have the close of this day and the top of this day. So 998 is a better level for this one. You have 14. This is still good. And you can also mark down the high of this day here at 1592. All right, so plenty of levels for INO. American Airlines, one that you can watch as well. Again, being directly affected with a lot of the travel stuff. The levels are great on this one. I don't think you need to add any more. Highs and lows from the last two trading days got you covered. Previous day close right on there at 17. The high from yesterday. Again, if we are going to get a huge bounce on this, which I highly doubt, 1972 could be an area that you could be getting into. You got a lot of space in here once you get over this moving average and this level here, the high from yesterday. Bank of America is the banking stock I'll be keeping an eye on. Again, not doing much right now. Pretty much the highs and lows got you covered as well. A lot of the highs and lows got you covered for the last two trading days because what's been happening is you've been dropping down, you're consolidating, right? So you're kind of ping-ponging around here, and you got the levels being created by the last 2 days. So they got you covered. All you have to do is look at the next level above this area for the last two highs, and this one is going to be 25.10. Again, we're going to need a lot of help from the SPY to be able to get out of this range here at all on a lot of these stocks. And if the SPY drops down, we're going to need a lot of help to break out of this support that we have created the last two trading days. Obviously, these stocks have found their level where they don't want to sell below off. But again, the SPY can definitely change if the market conditions change directions quickly. So here's Apple, same situation, stuck between the highs and lows of the last two trading days. You do have some your high of your pre-market sitting at 44.50, so you can mark that down, and your low sitting a very tight range at 43.75. So again, you kind of got a tight range here on AMD. If it can break out of that, your highs and lows will be the areas you'll be trying to look to break out of, right? If you break out towards the downside, you do have a nice area down here at 41.04, and if you break out towards the top, you have another level over here at 47 as well, 47.52. All right, guys, this is the list that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. 9:15 Eastern time, we're coming up. I'm going to be looking at my favorite today is obviously CCL. I've been watching that very closely, been trading it very well. PDD's got a great catalyst, so I'm going to be watching that one. TDOC has some potential starting to get going here. Let's see if it can break the high of the pre-market here. DXC as well could be interesting. Not doing much right now, pretty quiet. And CLDR also a possible as well. Norm, anything that has popped up in your area that you like this morning? Aside from what we have?
Nothing new, my man, that we haven't already discussed.
All right, excellent. So let's take a look at, I'm going to fine tune this list to kind of keep the ones I like. So CCL, PDD, TDOC, DXC is pretty quiet right now. I'm going to move this one down so possible. DXC. And hold on a second. Just make some room over here. I think AMD. AMD's okay. American Airlines looks decent. Keep an eye on that one. INO again has a great pre-market activity. We definitely got to watch INO. The pre-market activity is great. I'm not a fan of it. Might not take a trade on it, but it's one that's moving very well. And then Tesla. Let's not forget about Tesla. Tesla's definitely one of my favorites today. The way it's moving right now in the pre-market, it's getting some good activity here, some good volume. So let's see what it does at the moment. All right, so that is what we have. Some possibles: DXC, Bank of America, and AMD. I'm going to keep an eye on. Definitely looking for this to hit our scanners, turbo breakup or turbo breakdown, or I have a SPY chart up, right? We also have our SPY chart up, seeing what's going on with the market. If we're getting any big drop
SPY
or big,
chart up and Benzinga squawk on, my man,
yep,
Carlos. It's
absolutely.
essential right now.
Yep, absolutely. So you want to know what's going on as soon as possible. Make sure you're not stuck in a situation where you're taking a long position and the SPY starts dropping on you. Can really change the direction of things. So keep those two things up. Make sure you're keeping a pulse on what's going on with the market. News is critical during this time of the market. So that is what we have, folks. T-Doc looking to get up there, so we'll see if we can break that out. PDD, CCL. INO, very active pre-market, and Tesla. I think Tesla's going to leave us behind before they're open. Let's see if we can hold off a few minutes here. So, all right, guys, that is what we have. Take care, guys, on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Also, subscribe so when we go live tomorrow, you get a nice alert on your phone. If you forgot to watch the show, that will remind you to join us and we can prepare together. Also, tonight, we again, just a reminder, we have at 4:15 Eastern time, we have Tom from Tasty Trade, so do not miss that. Definitely want to keep an eye on that. It's going to be fun to watch and see what he has to say. This guy has a lot of experience. I'm looking forward to that one. Again, and just all the other stuff that we have coming up for you this week and the next. Take care, guys. Trade safe.
Trade safe, guys. See you tomorrow.